Good day, everyone. I am John Eric Remorin, a graduate student taking Master in Education and Religious and Values Education. I will now share to you my article critique on the journal article Work-Life Balance Crafting During COVID-19, Exploring Strategies of Telecommuting Employees in the Philippines. The author of the article explored the work-life balance or WLB crafting strategies of employees with telecommuting work arrangement during the COVID-19 pandemic in the Philippines. With the use of WLB crafting strategies as a tool, the study was conducted among 112 employees in the Philippines through an interview and an online survey. To use an online survey with a questionnaire asking, what strategies do you utilize to have work-life balance during the extended community quarantine period, or ECQ? Thematic analysis was then used to analyze and familiarize the data. Results suggest that employees utilized a variety of WLB crafting strategies, namely physical, cognitive, and relational, to be able to balance the demands in both work and non-work domains while working remotely during the COVID-19 pandemic. The authors recommend that the result of the study may help inform the design of WLB programs to employers and initiatives that will enhance employee WLB during the COVID-19 pandemic and in future crisis situations. In this critique, the strengths and weaknesses in the three major sections of the article are identified, and we will allow readers to determine the usefulness of the study and future research. To start with, let me share the strengths and weaknesses of the literature review and theoretical framework. First, the authors explain well the impact of COVID-19 pandemic in the working industry. It was well explained how the crisis forced most workers to work remotely during the first 3 months of lockdown. This is important because it depicts the situation in the working industry, specifically those who could work remotely. Another strength of this is that the authors emphasize on the work-life balance of workers as an important aspect of a working employee. It was discussed how employees have been challenged to balance their work and personal life even before the pandemic. The following are the weaknesses. First, the study could have also focused on the other types of work aside from telecommuting. In the Philippines, telecommuting is only applicable to those who have administrative and technological functions. There are others who could not dwell in this kind of setup because they are incapable of doing so due to limited resources. Another weakness of this is that there is no recent study of WLB crafting strategies' effectiveness during a crisis. The result may depend on the data gathered if the strategies are effective in a work-from-home arrangement. Let us go to the methodology and research design. One of the strengths of this study is that the data gathered were relevant because the respondents were able to answer the survey within the 30 days after the first lockdown. The experience was fresh and new that it had connected to the current WLB crafting strategies. Another strength is that the study was able to have a decent number of respondents. During the strict implementation of community quarantine, the only option of getting a survey was through online. It was also good to know that consent was asked to protect the data of the respondents to comply with the Data Privacy Act of 2012. However, one of the weaknesses of the methodology is the deduction of respondents. The data was deducted due to the irrelevance of work nature. If it is applicable to work from home, it is possible that other jobs, the WLB crafting can also be applied. For example, frontliners working in the medical industry can also identify the challenges of how to balance work and personal life despite the current situation. It was not clear what was the nature of jobs being interviewed by the authors. Another weakness of the study is that it only focused on one question, which was what strategies do you utilize to have work-life balance during the extended community quarantine period? Authors could have included more questions to venture on the effects of the crisis in the current situation of the respondents. Utilizing the online platform could be an opportunity to investigate some factors and challenges that arise during the lockdowns. Results in the discussions review. It was clear, as one of the strengths of the study, that the authors were able to gather sufficient data that best answered the research question. Using thematic analysis, it was able to familiarize the data. With this kind of analysis, the results were inclusively related to the topic and questions being asked. Another strength is that the authors were able to identify different strategies of workers as part of their coping mechanisms of work transitions. The WLB crafting strategies were used as guide to clarify and identify different themes from data results. However, the results and discussions had its weaknesses. One of these is that WLB crafting strategy has no validated studies in the light of the pandemic crisis. The results gathered in the study are yet to be validated, and this strategy really helped the workers during the first weeks of the lockdowns. Another weakness is that the data gathering and analysis were not able to capture demographic data that would further the nuance of the research. It means that the authors were only focused on the responses without knowing the background of the respondents, like marital status, age, work before pandemic, and social status in life. To conclude, this study of the authors gives an overview of the WLB crafting strategies of workers in telecommunications during the pandemic. The weaknesses of the study would initiate the future researchers to be more careful and make it valid and relevant. The strengths are to be capitalized because WLB crafting strategies are good tools to identify and eliminate the challenges of balancing work and personal life. The study is a good reference for future study to explore more, not only in the telecommuting industry, but also in other kinds of work. Thank you for your time listening to this article critic. God bless and happy holidays.